Hello, I'm Ryan McEachran, and welcome to episode 33 of The Dig. On this week's episode, our guest is John Mason, Project Manager Mining Services for the City of Thunder Bay. We will speak about the recent Mining Readiness Strategy report that focuses on how they are preparing for the expected growth opportunities from mining in the region, and why Thunder Bay is best situated to be the business hub for this growth. Stephanie Alvarez is back with an update on what MSTA Canada is planning around the Pdac virtual convention. And we finish things off with our popular 6 and 60. So let's get to it. We know the week of March 8th is all about Pdac. And to keep you updated on all the latest news and developments at Pdac, the Dig will release daily shows highlighting the big stories of the day. To make it easier for you to get this important information, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Twitter at Mining Suppliers, and join us on LinkedIn. Here's Stephanie Alvarez with an update on what you can expect from MSTA Canada at Pdac. Hi, Steph.
Hi, Ryan. Pdac 2021 is only 1 week away, and here are a couple of the programs that MSTA Canada will be running. In collaboration with Global Affairs Canada, MSTA Canada will host the B2B networking platform, which will be the best way to get new business opportunities. This event will allow you to set up B2B meetings with international delegations as well as with the Trade Commissioner Service from 40 different countries. Registration is at all times high. I would strongly recommend you go ahead and register right away so you can get as many meetings as possible. We will also host a series of panel discussions in collaboration with Global Affairs Canada and Export Development Canada. The topics will include geoscience redefined, drilling differently, and the path to electric battery. I will be sending a registration email to all of our members about this, as well as with the B2B networking platform. And for more information, you can just contact me directly at Alvarez at mstacanada.ca.
Thanks, Steph. We're always looking to connect members to new business, and it's no surprise that there are great opportunities in our own backyard. Today, we have the pleasure to speak with John Mason about the projected growth of mining in Northwestern Ontario and how setting up in Thunder Bay would be a great location to capitalize on those opportunities. So let's dig in now with John. Hi, John. Welcome to The Dig.
Well, thanks, Ryan. Thanks for having me.
Excellent. So a report just came out by the Community Economic Development Commission called the Mining Readiness Strategy. Can you tell us a little bit about why this report was written before we get into the details?
No, great question to start the interview. Our thought process was the Northwest Ontario region had a great opportunity on the back of palladium, gold, and critical elements to really be showcased and be brought forward in a strategic manner, whether we're talking workforce or supply and service, or the direct producers and advancing projects. So we thought it was time to be strategic and capitalize on giving us a 10-year footprint going forward as a regional hub and home for the sector.
Right. So what were some of the key themes that came out of the report, if you can share with us?
Yes, it did start, I did mention business development, supply and service. That's really, as you know, a very key piece from your day job nationally, a very important sector to grow and develop and encourage. We have about 400 service and supply companies in Thunder Bay now that engage exploration, development, construction, and production, the full mining sequence. And that we see as a big opportunity to harness and grow. So the fact that palladium gold production, not a surprise with tremendous prices over the last, actually probably since the pandemic started, growth. As we sit in a recession, those metal prices have done well. And how do we then go ahead and help the service and supply side? We also want to look at the workforce side. Challenge on many of the mining footprints. As people do age out, retire, we see an opportunity to shore that up. And it's not just about hiring, it's about retention. So as a full service community out of Thunder Bay and region, we felt it was incumbent upon us to really engage with university, college, trade unions, Indigenous training organizations, all of the above, private sector trainers, et cetera, that are involved with this space and grow the opportunity on the workforce side. So that was the second theme. Then we got heavily into the infrastructure side, and the two important pieces of that, as you're aware, the electrical transmission and supply side, where we have some tremendous deficiencies in the Northwest, challenging some of the historical spectacular gold camps, including Red Lake District, which is a sad statement, but that's the kind of the soup we're in terms of making those aware that we have to meet those challenges and come forward with supply and get the electrons into the mining camps. It's very critical to do that. The transportation side, we have a couple of this projects stranded. We did analyze the 6 mines, 15 major projects, and I think we're very conservative. We'll see other projects enter that space. All of these folks were interviewed that head up these organizations, whether it be mine GMs, company presidents, procurement managers, HR managers. They were brought into the fray. So the strength of the document we feel is astounding based on, this is industry telling us. This isn't MNP, the consultants who won the bid, or TBT Engineering, who are their partner. This is actually industry giving us these factoids. So that is significant. Research and development, value-added gaps were also studied. And the last piece was the economic contribution of the sector. Some astounding numbers. By 2027, we anticipate about $8 billion of direct, indirect, and induced economic impact. That would be the economic piece that MNP came up with through their Vancouver and Toronto offices when they did the deep dive analysis on these 6 mines and 15 projects, the bulk of which will hit the finish line as new producers. We're quite confident.
Right. Wow. So that's a pretty exciting kind of opportunity. And you alluded to it there, I think there's a number there of 7,000 jobs are going to be needed. There's over a 10-year period, I guess.
Oh, you're right on the mark. Not only the supply chain grow by probably 100 or more businesses, but the direct workforce. We have about 3,600 people working at the 6 mines now. Some of those are moderate to large producers. We do have the luxury of having the Barracks and the Newmonts, the world's 2 biggest gold producers with projects in the Northwest. They were part of the analysis, as were mid-tiers, juniors, and others. But yes, that growth will double. It is a huge issue. So Thunder Bay is a bedroom community for a number of the mines, as you're aware. We have about 850 to 1,000 direct employees in the mines. But the challenges then that are before us after that, whether it be housing stock, you name it, we have to be prepared to address that and create this hub and home mentality and fully bring it forward.
Right. And so the, you've mentioned kind of the economic contribution, the jobs, and kind of speaking a little bit back to what I'll call the infrastructure deficits of access. But I believe the report mentions something like 60% of the exploration projects right now are kind of don't have that classic infrastructure for access. And then when you looked at the electricity requirements, like it's in hundreds of percent, in some places even 2 times the requirement as it is today. So it's it's something that definitely wants to be highlighted.
No, exactly. And your comment is bang on. I mean, the fact is 3 of the major projects are stranded right now with no access. Probably one of Canada's largest lithium deposits, Frontier Lithium, north of Red Lake. It ranks up there with Piedmont's project in the Carolinas that Tesla's involved with now. It sits at that level. So it's incumbent upon this. It's not a diamond or a gold project. As you know, we do need access for this to be not just mineralized rock, but ore that can be extracted. And obviously the Ring of Fire and Springpole Lake, that's another area that First Mining Gold has, where we have a concern northeast of Red Lake. On the electricity side, electricity usage as a heavy industry, like many parts of Canada, it is the largest, that sector, the mining sector, is the largest user of electricity. At about 190 megawatts would be our load. And we see that growing by 180% to over 540 megawatts required, just in 6 or 7 short years.
Wow.
So no small challenge, but to me, electricity and transportation infrastructure are foundational pieces. And my word to my colleagues and advocates in government has been industry will spend the rest of the cash. So they need that foundational piece. And I'm of the opinion as well, Ryan, to add another layer, from your experiences in Canada and the globe, I think we often see those as investment attractors as well, basic infrastructure, and critical on So we may not know what we miss in terms of those companies that look at mergers and acquisitions. I mean, we've had tremendous activity there with Australia, Europe, South Africa, US coming into projects in Northwestern Ontario. And we want to make sure we're on our game and have the whole package presented.
Yeah, and I think you make a very good point when we look at the speed to benefiting from these deposits from an economic standpoint is how infrastructure is critical. I always love to use Hemelo as a good example. Discovered right beside a highway with a power line going through it. And I think that was discovery to production was 5 years in those days. So it's showing you that it is a huge lever, I think, and how it will attract investment.
That's a remarkable opportunity, particularly as we hopefully climb out of COVID shortly. It is one of the sectors that really will help with recovery in Ontario and Canada, no question.
Right. Yeah. And you mentioned the lithium part, and and this goes under a broader umbrella of, say, green minerals and critical minerals. You see Thunder Bay, I think in the report, it suggested an opportunity to actually be a hub for the processing of these critical minerals. So.
Yes. Yeah. And I'm glad you brought that up. We three of the deposits that were studied, RockTech, Avalon, Advanced Materials, and Frontier Lithium, their three projects were part of the study. And all three are very interested in the Great Lakes region, in particular Thunder Bay, potentially for a lithium chemical plant to produce lithium sulfate, which then could go to lithium hydroxide, hopefully in Ontario as well. Those are battery-ready elements for battery production in Ontario and Canada, hopefully. We'll see how that supply chain goes. There's a great appetite by the federal and provincial governments, Minister Rickford, Minister Fedeli, as well as the federal entities, to reverse the supply chain, particularly on the back of the announcements made in the last 4 months in the auto sector. Exciting, huge announcements by Ontario and the big three to the tune of well over $5 billion commitments for assembly. And that will complement, Ontario's piece will complement the larger Michigan auto sector. Reverse engineering that, we many cases have key critical elements, and not just for the auto sector. I would say for aerospace, telecommunication, computing, palladium, graphite, cobalt, nickel, chromite. There's a number of pieces that could fit into that fray, and lithium is definitely leading the charge in our backyard for sure, and it's a huge opportunity. Interesting place, Thunder Bay, with being in the center of a continent and having the utility to actually use the major railways, highways, but also as a deep water port to service the world essentially from that port and deal with all of the Great Lakes, including the vibrant auto sector that is downstream from us, literally.
Right, and so you're kind of leading into my next follow-up question, which was about what Thunder Bay has to offer. So if I was a company looking to invest with these opportunities coming down the pipe, and a supplier or even a mining organization, it's like, what are the other aspects that Thunder Bay brings to the table?
Yeah, no, good question. I would start with the availability of industrial land, heavy and light industrial land, as well as commercial land. So if that company is a mining company, for example, and we have a few head offices in Thunder Bay or branch offices, there's room to set up on the commercial front. If you're ready for the lithium processing piece, we have options there, public and private held land. And that's part of the scoping study. Your question's right on, because there's one of the three parties is in the middle of a pre-feasibility study, and it'll have to do with the engineering, costing, and site selection. So that's right into that particular question. The City of Thunder Bay, their official plan's been renewed, and we've just completed in the last year, an employment land study that analyzes all of these available infrastructure pieces. We also work heavily with 401 First Nation, and the City of Thunder Bay is in their traditional territory. They're connected to a number of the mines already in terms of agreements, impact benefit agreements, but they're also very much an urban business related community. They have 1,100 acres of industrial land with 4 or 5 tenants on there now. One of the largest, it is the largest sawmill east of the Rockies, is located on their industrial land, and their DST / Englobe are going through a study now of rigorously laying out industrial lots, as well as all the utilities that are required for those lots. So that could be another location for facilities. And we work quite often in harmony with Chief Peter Collins and their Economic Development Office. I would argue too, on a research processing side, Lakehead University Confederation College can provide a lot of goods in terms of needed, not only graduates to work as skilled tradespeople, or pre-trades people who can go into formal trades programs, but also on the Lakehead, for example, I chair their advisory board for their Center of Excellence for Mining and Exploration. And two areas I'll just touch on that they're very much down the path on. They have industrial research chairs now working on mineral processing, including critical elements. And they're also working towards mineral deposit studies for a variety of metals. So that's a great asset to have right in Thunder Bay with people that are, I would say, industry focused to go forward.
Right. And so, it sounds like definitely Thunder Bay is getting itself set up with what's coming down the pipeline, if you will. What are the next steps then, John?
Yes, we have a 1-year implementation plan that's quite aggressive. In lockstep with that, one of the colleagues at CDC at my office is working on the marketing communication plan, which we'll run through. So the last thing we want is a report that's going to collect dust. No, this is going to be a dynamic, active document. And even in Q1 here of 2021, this study was completed mid-December of 2020, and it's our formal announcements have just taken place in the last week. We had to go through council and board and other approval, and that's all in play. So I would argue some of the, and to give you a soundbite of some of the pieces we're working on, we're really celebrating Indigenous business success and individual success at a lot of the mines in the Northwest. So we're doing a case example approach. As you know, Ryan, quite often the mining industry is kind of like the law profession or the engineering profession. Case examples resonate. So we want to play on that and really explain to people the great stories that are taking place out there on the landscape now, grow that, and let that be an inspiration for further business development and education as well. We have an active mining directory that we're expanding and deepening where people can research. So if you're coming in from Nevada, for example, and you're interested in purchasing a project, we can indicate very quickly what are the support mechanisms, business and otherwise, to help them. We're also affiliated with 1DC and the 5 northern communities as well. And you've had a lot of interaction yourself in your office with that group, and Mine Connect as well, as they work through a pan-provincial opportunity. So, that I think is critical. We also have the trade unions involved. They're quite heavily involved. One of the things we did find out from the study, certainly not a surprise in one way, but the depth and need on the skilled trade side. It is huge. As people age out in that sector, there's a great opportunity for specific examples: welders, millwrights, heavy equipment mechanics. No shortage there. And it's a challenge because you're dealing with different mine sites that are open pit, underground. Some are accessed by shaft, some are accessed or will be accessed by portals. So there's a whole different set of engineering challenges and just logistics challenges working through that. Health and safety is paramount, and that's one of the areas we're strengthening in Thunder Bay too, in terms of companies that are involved there. There's a great need, we think, and MNP pointed this out, for skilled trades or skilled life skills training, skilled trades training, mining training. NORCAD and other offices of origin have branches in Thunder Bay, and they're providing some of that. Some exciting stuff on the virtual reality side, robotics, automation side. It's right in our village, and working with some of the other municipalities in Ontario to provide those goods. So we want to illustrate we have a full service community that even our little village does have a symphony. We have 2 Olympic pools. We have a lot of things that can provide a family a great setting. So it helps with the retention piece, I would argue, and career development for that second spouse, male or female, depending on the makeup of the family, right? So it's a good opportunity to move forward.
Excellent. Well, it's a really, really exciting opportunity that I'm seeing coming down. When I saw the report, I had to get you on there, and as a Thunder Bay boy, it really kind of sparked my my interest and excitement for it. So I'm looking forward to seeing more and hearing more of the stories coming out in the near future. And John, I just want to thank you for taking the time to share this great story with us.
Well, thanks, Ryan, for the opportunity. I wish you well with the dig. It's it's a very enlightening piece. I think that's going to grow legs and continue to grow legs, and it's educating and providing valuable information back to everybody, really, as the world keeps their eyes on Ontario and Canada for their next mine.
Excellent. Well, I appreciate that. Thank you very much, John. Take care.
Thanks, Ryan. Have a good day.
If you would like to know more about the Mining Readiness Strategy, contact John Mason at jbmason@shaw.ca. It's now time for 6 and 60, so let's take a look at the biggest stories affecting the mining industry today. Simon Moore, director at Benchmark Mineral Intelligence, told the House of Commons that Canada's natural resources and skilled mining workforce could make Canada a world leader in the EV battery market. The National Mining Association gave President Joe Biden's executive order to review America's domestic mineral supply chains a thumbs up. The head of the National Australia Bank for Commodity Research said, as more miners implement meaningful ESG policies, access to the capital targeting such projects will increase. Freeport-McMoRan is set to greenlight expansions at several of its U.S. copper mines to capitalize on the increasing demand for copper. Daily Portfolio reported, Colombia's environmental authority, ANLA, approved the environmental license for South 32's Cerro Matoso nickel project. And finally, Epiroc is updating its North America underground business strategy. By combining the US and Canada units, it will be headed by Travis Baddeley out of the Greater Toronto area. And that is your 6 and 60. That's it for this week's show. I'd like to thank John Mason from the City of Thunder Bay and Stephanie Alvarez. Follow us on LinkedIn and Twitter at Mining Suppliers, and please subscribe to our YouTube channel to get instant access to the latest episode and past episodes of The Dig. Thanks for joining us. Until next time, I'm Ryan McEachran. Take care and stay safe.